Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and here's an interesting rumour what's going on with DC. It looks like they have a contender for who they want to play Hal Jordan. Yeah, in the Lantern show. It's an interesting choice. I don't think it's a right choice, but there's also names that have popped up if this person is to say no. And the person they're looking for is none other than Josh Brolin, of all people. So we'll have a look at this article and what it goes over and says about it, and then we'll see what these other names are, because the other names are insane as well to hear. So it's saying that they've heard a noteworthy name was being sought to play veteran Green Lantern Hal Jordan in the upcoming DCU Lantern series, and a new rumour is claiming that the studio has set its sights on former MCU actor for the role. According to Nexus Point News, who have broken some pretty big DC related scoops over the past few weeks, Josh Brolin has been offered the part, though the site notes that he hasn't actually entered talks and might well decline. Brolin is no stranger to the comic book movie superhero genre, having played Thanos in the Infinity Saga and Cable in Deadpool 2. He has also technically played a DC character in the much maligned Jonah Hex movie. Casting is also underway for a black actor between 27 and 35 to play John Stewart, the younger Lantern Jordan takes under his wing. By the way, I'll get ready for this part, that's bad news. Emmy Award-winning Lost and Watchmen creator Damon Lindelof is working on the pilot script along with Ozark showrunner Chris Mundy and acclaimed comic book writer, destroyer, Tom King. So fuck this show. He's involved with every aspect of DCU, which immediately puts this thing in bad books for everyone. But now we look at this stuff that if Brolin says no, what they're talking about. So it says earlier this week we learned that Avengers Infinity War and Deadpool 2 star Josh Brolin is being eyed for the role of Hal Jordan, while it also says for in HBO's Lanterns. Interesting. While we've heard DC Studios wants an older actor to play the hero, the expectation has been that Hal would be in his early 40s at most. Instead, the Green Lantern Corps member is clearly a veteran and will perhaps become the villainous Parallax sooner rather than later. Following the news about Brolin, we heard yesterday evening that Ewan McGregor and Matthew McConaughey are also in contention for the role, and Nexus Point News has just shared another update. Apparently, Chris Pine and Timothy Olyphant are also on DC Studios' shortlist for Hal. And while McConaughey is a contender, he's not the frontrunner if Brolin says no. Instead, it's Pine, the actor best known for Star Trek and playing the Wonder Woman franchise's Steve Trevor. For context, Brolin is 56, Pine is 44, McGregor is 53, Olyphant is 56, and McConaughey is 54. That's a big age difference between Pine and the other actors being eyed for the role, though how much will potentially change Hal's portrayal on screen remains to be seen. So you're hearing that they want Josh Brolin. Now, would he actually take the role? Probably not. Why? Because he's already done so many of the comic book movies in terms of he was Thanos for 2 movies. He was Cable for a movie. He, of course, was Jonah Hex for a movie. He must be sitting there going like, I'm not taking on another role in a comic book thing. Bringing in Matthew McConaughey, I really can't see him doing something like not just a superhero project, but more so a project that's going to be on the small screen rather than the big screen. Timothy Olyphant, I can see jumping for the role. Dude's starting to pop up in everything. Ewan McGregor, I don't really see him taking the role. I also really don't see him as a Hal Jordan type person. Chris Pine, it would be weird to put Chris Pine in there, and I think you'd really piss off a lot of people if you went, oh, so you brought back someone from Wonder Woman and it's not Wonder Woman herself. you went with Chris Pine to play this character. Would he do it? And would he do it for the small screen? Honestly, probably not. That's the interesting, like, if you think about how the whole Star Trek situation went, with him demanding so much money, you know, because it was in his contract before they tried to change the contract. Is he willing to, because you're going to have to probably take a significant cut from what you're demanding on movies to a small project like what we're going to assume would probably be 8 episodes of something. Yes, that could probably lead into bigger things like the movies and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, really, do we really want to see him come back as this? It's really weird. The casting choices are really weird. Yeah, I don't get why they're going for this angle. Tom King being involved is just the biggest red flag. Of course, he's involved with everything that's DCU now, so that straight away says to half of us that the DCU was dead on arrival with Tom King's involvement, and it's his stories with a lot of it that they're adapting. Yeah, good looking, thanks. But Josh Brolin, I don't know. I'm sure he would actually be fine in the role, but would he be willing to do it? I really don't see him saying yes to it. And again, half of them people, other than Tim the Elephant, I really don't see any of them saying yes to it, which is weird. Unless they're hard up for a bit of spondoolies, in which case I'm sure they'll all be jumping for it. But other than that, that's the story for now. Of course, we know at least one Green Lantern is showing up in the new Superman. God knows how many more could show up in it. We'll find out. But there you go. That's the story for what they're planning to do with the Lanterns series. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Cheers, and I shall catch you in the next one.